Welcome to Aligned Christ-Centered Yoga. My name is Linda and I'll be guiding our practice today. My question for you today is, how comfortable are you in the shadows? I'm a gardener. In the mid-Atlantic of the United States, we've had a very strange spring this year. We've had hot, we've had cold, it's gone back and forth, we've had rain, we've had drought. It's only the end of June. Last week I went out and the only perennials that were blooming were the daylilies. And the daylilies were beautiful and, they were just shining, the star of the garden. But nothing else had come into its own yet, which is really late for us. And it made me a little sad. And the Lord just reminded me that we all have our time in the sun. And that there's a reason for rest and there is a reason for shadow. He brought me to Psalm 91. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Sometimes we're called to shadow, and sometimes we're called to shine. Come to a sitting position, bringing the sitting bones up on a block, a stack of blankets, a stack of magazines, just something to elevate your hips a few inches to help you release some of the tension in the hips and the legs and the lower back. And gently rock forward and back and side to side. Settle heavy into those bones. Closing your eyes, begin to gently let the world around you fade away. Feel the space around you dissolve, the sounds disappear, drawing your attention inward. Notice your breath. Are you breathing deeply? Are you breathing slowly? Begin to breathe intentionally. So inhale into the lungs, the rib cage, the diaphragm. And exhale, drawing the belly in, softening the rib cage and emptying the lungs. Inhaling down the body, exhaling up the body, feel the way that the breath is affecting the body. Checking in, notice how your body feels today. We'll be opening up the upper back and the chest. So notice particularly across the shoulders, in the neck, between the shoulder blades. Where do you feel tension? Where do you feel stuck? Where do you feel loose and free? Check in spiritually. How connected do you feel to God? How does your time in the shadows affect your relationship with God? Take 2 more breaths here. As you're ready, let the hands come down to the mat. Taking a deep breath in, draw arms up and overhead. Exhaling, bring hands down to the mat. And continue here, connecting breath and movement, guiding the movement with the breath. On the next inhale, draw the gaze up as the arms rise and begin to open up the front of the body. And as you exhale, tuck your chin, opening up the back. And continue here for 2 more breaths. As you're ready, let the hands come down to the mat, tucking the chin, let the head hang heavy. And stay here for 2 breaths. And gently begin to bring the right ear to the right shoulder, chin forward. Left ear to left shoulder. Two more breaths here. Next time that right ear comes to the shoulder, leave it there. Draw a circle with your chin. And notice not only how the neck feels, but how do the shoulders feel? Do you feel any sensations across the chest or across the upper back? Settle into the stretch, find it there, close your eyes. And taking another deep breath, release a little more. Gently bring the chin forward. And bring the left ear to your shoulder. Again, draw a circle with your chin. And notice not only what's going on in the neck, what's going on in the rest of the upper body as well. Find your stretch. Again, just closing your eyes. How can you find a little more release with breath? As you're ready, let your head rise. Bring the arms all the way up, interlacing the fingers. Bring the palms to the sky. Walk shoulders up to ears, and then gently let the shoulder blades glide down the side of the body, drawing the navel in and up. Draw the gaze up and down. Can you connect the movement with breath? As you're ready, settle the head at center. Bring the arms out to the side, exhaling. Find seated cat, inhaling seated cow. As you come into that next seated cat, stay there, interlacing the fingers. Bring the backs of the hands towards me, tucking your chin. Can you stay on the sitting bones even as you round your back? And gently draw the right shoulder forward, lift it up like you're steering a ship, and look underneath your arm. As you're ready, release. Palms come to me, bring the arms all the way up and let the hands come back behind you. Begin to find cow pose, lengthening through the front of the body, bringing the collarbone back and up. And as you're ready, bring the head back to center. Interlace the fingers awkwardly this time. Find your cat. And draw your left shoulder forward and up. And look underneath. Can you find stretch in that left shoulder blade? As you're ready, release, palms to me again. Arms rising up, unlacing the fingers, bringing them back, opening up across the chest. Stay here for 2 breaths. Can you feel the upper body lifting up and out of those very solid hips and floating into the back bend? As you're ready, release. If you're on a prop, come off it. Bring any props that you have to the front of the mat. Cross your right leg in front of your left. Find your sitting bones again. Taking a deep breath in, bring arms all the way up. Bring the inside of the hands, wrists, forearms, elbows together. And tucking your chin, draw your arms forward. So maybe those elbows come all the way down to the floor. If not, consider bringing them up, a little supporting them on a prop. And wherever you are, can you find the stretch, shoulder to shoulder across the back? Draw the back of the head towards the mat. Pressing into the palms of your hands, rise up. Take that right leg behind you in a pinwheel. Begin to gently lift and lower the hips. So that right hip is rocking. Bring the hand parallel to the floor and bring the palm towards the other hand. And then open up towards the foot. And maybe turn the head opposite the movement of the arm. And then if you'd like to, take that left hand behind you and begin to sweep up, bringing the hips forward as you open up across the chest. Exhaling, come back down. 2 more times here. Come up one final time and stay up. You draw the navel in towards the spine and up. Can you draw the hip points in towards the spine, the tailbone in towards the spine? As you're ready, release, bring the hands down. One hand on top of the other, begin to gently just press down and up onto the thigh of the front leg. One more time. And then walk your body all the way over that leg and let the head come to the mat. So stay here and notice what's going on. So maybe you find a stretch in the hips. Maybe the body can grow a little heavier and melt over that leg. Pressing into your hands, rise up. Cross the legs with the other leg in front. So my left leg is now in front. Find your sitting bones again. Rock a little into it. Take a nice deep breath in as the arms rise. Again, the inside of the hands, wrists, forearms, elbows come together, tucking your chin, draw forward. Let the head come down, finding length in the neck, engaging through the abdominals. Can you stay on the sitting bones? One more breath here. Pressing into your hands, rise up. And bring that front leg to the back, left hand to hip, and begin to rock forward and back. Releasing some of the tension in the hip. Noticing what's going on in that lower back today. Get you ready, hand comes back to foot, sweep it around, bring the arm parallel to the floor, palm down as you come to the hand, up as you go back to the foot. Gaze moving opposite the arm. One more time like this. And then your option, taking that right hand behind you, sweeping that left arm all the way down and up, opening up and coming back. Again. One more time like this. And then as you're ready, coming up and staying up. So again, engage the core muscles of the body. Find that stretch, shoulder to shoulder, across the chest. As you're ready, release, bringing the arms all the way down and around. Place one hand on top of the other, opposite this time if you can remember what you did before. Always a challenge for me. And press up and down into that thigh. One more time. And as you're ready, just come forward and over that knee. So again, support the head with props or fists, or maybe you're flexible enough to come all the way down to the floor. Can you find a really deep, slow breath here? Pressing into the hands, rise up. Crossing legs in front of you, come forward into table. Finding table. Find the pocket of air under the palm of your hand, fingertips lightly down. Draw the eyes of the elbows in, knees underneath hips, smacking through the tops of your feet, pressing into the tops of your feet. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Back and forth here. So as you find cat and cow, can you very intentionally open up across the chest and open up across the upper back? And one more time, cat. And one more time, cow. Meeting me at center, place the right fingertips in towards the center of the mat. Sweep the left arm up in a twist. Exhaling, come under, just bringing the hand across the rib cage as you dip your left shoulder. And then come back and forth here. So just exploring the sensations in the back and really using the oblique muscles of the abdominals to do the twisting for you. So as you're ready, left arm rises high, bring it all the way underneath, and drop your left shoulder and head to the mat. Begin to stack shoulders. And as you're ready, draw the right fingertips all the way up Maybe this is where you stay. And as you settle, can you find release across the back as that bottom shoulder grows heavy and the fingers reach away from your body? And then can you find the opening in the chest as that top hand comes to the sacrum bone at the center of your lower back? What happens if you press through the tops of your feet? Inhaling, let the arm rise up. Exhaling, unwind. From table, come back to child. Up to table. One more time, exhaling into child, inhaling into table, your pace. And take your left hand, fingertips in towards the center of the mat. Right arm reaches all the way up. And exhale, wrapping that right arm around the rib cage as you come into the twist. Back and forth here a few times. And as you're ready, sweep that right arm all the way under. Shoulder and head drop to the mat. Stack shoulders. Begin to find the stretch in the upper back as those right fingertips reach away from the body. Sweep the left arm up to the sky. Can you use breath to stabilize and find the twist? Inhaling, length into the spine. Exhaling, stacking the shoulders. And then maybe that left hand comes down to the sacrum bone. Again, just supporting the spine, supporting the back, opening up the chest. As you're ready, bring the hand all the way up and unwind. Child to table twice. Your breath, your pace. Bring your hands a little bit forward, find a kneeling plank, and bring the body as a single unit all the way down to the mat. Forearms to the side of the mat, fingers spread wide. Come up into Sphinx and back down. And come in and out of this. What are you feeling in your back today? As you're ready, press the forearms down. Press the hands and the feet down. Imagine the elbows drawing in towards the hips as the collarbone rises. How connected to God do you feel when you're open to Him? As you're ready, release. Exhaling down, hands to the rib cage. Come back to child. One more breath in child. Come in through table and find your first downward facing dog, curling your toes underneath you, bringing your knees into your rib cage, those hips rising to meet the sky. Begin to pedal through your feet. What's going on in the feet and the ankles, the calves, the hamstrings. On the next inhale, heels rise. On the next exhale, heels come down towards the mat. So checking in, noticing what's going on with your first downward facing dog. Can you release more tension in the neck? Shaking the head no. And yes. Come forward into plank, finding a strong plank. And then dropping knees down to the mat, maybe coming down in plank, maybe going into grasshopper, gliding the chest through the arms as you come into your low cobra. And exhale, coming back into child. Rising into downward facing dog. And the next inhale, the right leg rises high. Gaze comes forward as the foot comes all the way through the hands. Hands to either side of the foot, begin to drop that back knee down and up. So keep the front knee right over the ankle, front foot stays on the mat. And as you're ready, let the back leg rise, press into the left hand. Use those abdominals to wrap around the spine, find your twist as the left arm rises. Again, hand to the small of the back, begin to open up across the chest. Notice that as you use your core muscles, you can take a little weight out of that wrist that's on the floor. As you're ready, cartwheel your hands all the way around, front foot to the back, meet me in plank. And from plank, again dropping to your knees, choosing your way down to the mat, choosing your back bend. Coming through child. And meeting me in downward facing dog. On the next inhale, raise the left leg up. Use those abdominals as you crunch and bring the foot all the way through the hands, beginning to drop and lift the back leg. Begin to find hip release. Releasing through the psoas muscle on the right. As you're ready, raise that back leg up. Press into that right hand. Sweep the body around, left arm rising. Imagine the inner thighs drawing in and towards each other. Bring the top arm to the small of the back, supporting the back as you find your twist. Can you draw your shoulder away from your ear? Cartwheel the arm all the way back. Front foot to the back, meet me in plank. And from plank, come down to the mat, find your back bend. Come back to child. Meet me in downward facing dog. Drawing the gaze forward, walk or hop your feet forward up between your hands, bending your knees, drop your head down, find your forward fold, rib cage on thighs. Feet parallel to each other, hip width apart, begin to lift and lower your hips. Lift the hips up towards the sky, keeping the legs bent as much as you need to. Tension but no struggle. And check in. How long does your spine feel today? Hands to shins. Bring your back up parallel to the mat. Exhale down, pushing through the feet, rise all the way up to mountain pose, hands to heart. Stay here for a breath and check in. Interlace the fingers, bring the arms all the way up and behind your head. Gently, elbows back, turn towards the left with the upper body, keeping the hips forward, and then lift that, turn to the left, lift that left elbow up, and bring that right arm down and around, pressing into your hip if you're coming into that bind. Can you feel the stretch across the chest on that left side? Exhale, release. Hands to the small of the back, find your back bend. So imagine that hips and thighs are pushing against the wall in front of you. Inhale, rise up with the arms, interlace the fingers awkwardly. Hands behind the head, upper body twist towards the right. Right elbow comes up, left elbow drops down. And maybe that left arm comes into the bind, lengthening through the side of the body, finding that stretch across the chest. If you're ready, release. Arms rise all the way up. Hands to heart. Take a breath to check in. Inhaling, arms rise. Exhaling, forward fold. Hands to shins, body rises up parallel to the floor. Exhale down. Feet come to the back. Find a strong plank, and from your plank, find your way down to the mat. However you choose to do that, find your back bend. Come through child and meet me in downward facing dog. Take one more breath in downward facing dog, noticing what has shifted since you started today. On the next inhale, that right leg rises high. Heel to hip, knee to sky. Begin to open up across the front of the body. Can the shoulders and the head stay square to the mat? Lower body twist. As you're ready, bring that leg straight up, gaze comes forward, foot comes all the way through, rise up into your lunge. Hands to heart. Interlace the fingers, bring the fingers all the way up, palms to the sky, walk the shoulders to your ears and glide them down. And maybe you can twist to that right side, not twist, sorry, stretch to that right side if you have the balance. Gaze up. And then release, bring that right hand to the small of the back, sweep the left arm around and find a tall twist. And that back heel, reach a little closer to the back edge of the mat. Maybe you can sink the front thigh another inch. As you're ready, release. Bring the arms up into cactus and find a back bend. Arms rise, hands come down to either side of the foot. Foot comes to the back, meet me in plank, come down to the mat however you choose to do it. Find the back bend of your choice. And maybe you're still coming through child to downward dog, or maybe you're just going directly to downward facing dog. Stay here for a breath. In the next inhale, the left leg rises high. Heel comes to hip, knee comes to sky, lower body twist as you open up the body. Can the navel still draw in and up? And then as you're ready, bring that leg up to the sky, draw the gaze forward, use the abs to crunch as that knee floats through, rising up into lunge. Stay here, finding your lunge, hands to heart. Interlace the fingers awkwardly, bring the arms all the way up, walk shoulders to ears, but then glide the shoulder blades down the body. And maybe you can come to this side reaching and lengthening through the right side of the body. To do that, keep your focal point. Press the base of that big toe in the front down into your mat. And as you're ready, release. Left hand comes to the small of the back. Inhale, length. Exhale into that twist. Find breath. One more breath here. Maybe that front shin comes a little closer to the front edge of the mat. And then release, come to center. And just coming into cactus as you find that back bend. Arms rise high, hands come down. This time the back foot comes up to meet the front. Find your forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up. Exhale down. So your two peace fingers, hold on to your big toe. Let the elbows come out to the side, the back of the head towards the mat. Maybe lower and lift the hips a couple of times to find the forward fold that's right for you. How much length can you find in your back? One more inhale here, one more exhale. The next inhale, hands to shins, body rises parallel to the floor. Exhale down. Inhale, come all the way up to mountain pose. Interlacing the fingers, hands to the back of the head. This time, go ahead and take that left elbow up, reach across to your opposite shoulder blade, okay? And then catch your fingers. Right? So we've got a bit of a tricep stretch going on here. And then begin to drop into that right elbow, keeping that left elbow high and back, and then draw the gaze up if that works for you. And again, just releasing through the chest and all the muscles that affect it. And release and let the hands come down. Take the hands behind you, interlacing the fingers this time if that works for you. Bringing those arms wide. So just imagining that your arms are reaching towards the sides of the mat and then come into that back bend. Imagining that the hips and the thighs are pressing to the front. Exhale, release. Inhale, arms rise up, interlace the fingers awkwardly, hands behind you. Find the stretch as the elbows reach to the back wall. This time it's the left hand that reaches towards the opposite shoulder blade. And then catch the fingers. We're just going to drop that left elbow. I said that backwards again. My left and right are mixed up today. But this left elbow dropping, right elbow rising. Maybe the gaze comes up. Can you press a little more into that right foot? Inhale up, release, hands come behind. Interlace the fingers awkwardly in the other direction. Spread those arms wide, find your back bend. This time bending your knees, bring chest to thigh, head down, let the arms rise if that works for you. Can the body just melt over the thighs? And then depending on your flexibility, maybe you begin to straighten out the legs a little bit. One more breath here. As you're ready, release. Bring those arms all the way forward. Come up into chair pose. And then just fold over into a forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up with your back halfway up. Exhale down. How does your forward fold feel? Hands to either side of the feet. Bring the feet to the back of the mat. Plank pose. And from plank, choose your way through whatever flow you choose, meeting me ultimately in downward facing dog. Settle into downward facing dog whenever you get there. Let's take a few more breaths here, just noticing what has shifted and changed since you started your practice today. On the next inhale, raise that right leg up to the sky. Heel to hip, knee to sky. So maybe you stay here, or maybe it's within your practice, or you'd like to try Wild Thing. So that left hand will come to the center of the mat, directly in front of that foot. Pivot around, that back foot comes to the mat. Right arm rises high. Open up the body. Sometimes God calls us to shine. Exhale, close it up again. Hands even with the feet. Back leg rises high. Bring that foot all the way forward, and the back foot comes to warrior three. Angled slightly forward, pinky toe touching the edge of the mat. Rise up into your warrior. Here in warrior, bring the hands out to the side. Bring your right arm underneath your left, eagle arms. As the elbows rise, the forearms come away from the face, and the shoulder blades drop. Front knee over the ankle, navel in towards the spine and up. Finding length in the neck and stability right at the base of the throat. From here, exhale and bow forward. Inhale and rise. 2 more times here. And that third back bend, stay in your back bend. And keep the back in place as you unwind the arms and raise them up. And exhale, hands to either side of the foot, and bring the back foot up to meet the front. And find forward fold. Sometimes God calls us to stay in the shadows. Hands to shins, body rises up halfway. Exhale down, 1 foot back and then the other. Find your plank. And from plank, however you choose to do it, find your way to the mat and your back bend. And maybe you're still coming through child, maybe you're staying in child. As you're ready, meet me in downward facing dog. Modify the practice throughout. Make it right for your body today. On the next inhale, the left leg rises high. Heel to hip, knee to sky. Open it up. Maybe that right hand comes in towards the center of the mat a bit. That top leg spins over. Open up into Wild Thing. Then as you're ready, unwind, take it back. That leg comes up to the sky. Drawing the gaze forward, the foot comes all the way through the hands, and the back foot comes flat to the mat, warrior one. Rise up into your warrior. Hips and shoulders are facing the front of the mat. Arms reach out as wide as you can. Left arm comes underneath right. Elbows rise, forearms come away from the face. Maybe you sink a little lower into that warrior three with the legs, drawing the belly in, softening the rib cage. And then if you choose it, bowing forward, coming up into the back bend. And 2 more times. As you're ready, come to center. Bring those arms all the way up in that back bend. And exhale, hands to heart, stepping the back foot up to meet the front. Stay in mountain pose, hands at heart, finding breath. The next inhale, let the hands come down, shake everything out. We'll be coming into eagle pose. Stepping into the right foot, float the left. Bring the hands out to the side. Sweep the left arm underneath the right. Eagle arms. Engage through the core. Begin to sink into that right foot. Maybe that left leg floats up and over. Maybe the foot wraps around. Find the strongest eagle that you can and then make your choice. Maybe you bow down and rise into the back bend. And meet me at center. Unwind, shake everything out. Same thing on the other side, arms out to the side, stepping into the left leg. And this time it's the left arm underneath the right. Palms together, keeping the wrists straight. So if your hands don't quite get there, that's okay, but don't crunch your wrists. So sink into that left leg. Right leg rises up and over, maybe the foot wraps. Begin to open up in the upper back. Begin to find the strength in the core, maybe bowing down. Maybe finding back bend. Meeting me at center, unwind. Shake everything out. Deep breath in, arms rise high, exhaling, forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up halfway. Exhale down, one leg back and then the other, find plank. From plank, come down to the mat. Find your back bend and come into child. As you settle into child, coming back to that first question, how comfortable are you in the shadows? In those times where you feel like you're a little bit without direction, you feel like you're not making a lot of impact, you feel a little dormant. Take 2 more breaths here. And you're ready, press into your hands and come up. Go ahead and bring your feet forward. Take your legs out a little bit wide, hands behind you. Begin to just gently rock your hips side to side. Massage out the glutes. Roll all the way over them. Just imagine that you're rolling out on a foam roller. And then as you're ready, drop your knees over to the right. Explore the entirety of that glute muscle. And then find a knot, come up beside it, and massage it out. And as you're ready, come up and over, go the other direction. Back and forth here. Meet me at center. Hands behind the thighs. Come all the way down onto the mat. Give yourself a hug and rock side to side. Hands to the side, bring the knees up over the hips, bring the shins parallel to the floor. Gently begin to find a twist, just coming about 2/3 of the way down, to the right, to the left, back and forth. And can you guide the movement first with breath, exhaling as you come over. And then with the abdominals rather than the legs. Can the upper body stay steady on the mat? As you're ready, bring the legs all the way over to the right. Bring that left hand on top of the right. And then just sweep that left hand over the forearm, the bicep, all the way around into the twist. Let the shoulder blades settle heavy and find the twist that's right for you. Stay here for another 2 breaths. As you're ready, draw the belly in, roll all the way over to the other side, and this time you're going to sweep that right arm over the forearm, the bicep, the chest, all the way across. Again, just find the twist that's right for you, shoulder blades on the mat. Support the legs with props and blocks, or ask a little more of them with some gentle pressure from your hand. Stay here for 1 more breath. As you're ready, come to center, bringing the knees in, draw knees into the rib cage and away, back and forth. Just begin to restore a natural arch to your lower back. And as you're ready, bring your feet to the mat and extend them long. Windshield wiper your feet side to side. Bounce your knees a little bit. Rock your hips. Bring your hands all the way up to the sky. Reach as high as you can and just thump those shoulder blades down, and do that twice more. And let the hands come down to the hips, gently turning the palms up in surrender. Stay here in Shavasana. In this pose of surrender, allowing the body to grow heavy and soft. From the book, Come Away, My Beloved. Written as if from God to you. You are in my hands. You are not keeping yourself. I am keeping you. If I choose to hide you away, it is for a reason. If I wish to give you a time of rest, it is for your own good. I want to make you strong. I want you to be a devastator. I have brought you to this place. Make the most of it. Drink in the silence. Seek solitude. Listen to the silence. It will teach you. It will build strength. Let others share it with you. It is priceless. And it is little to be found elsewhere. Whoever dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Gently bring yourself back to this time and this place. Notice the way the breath is moving through your body. Notice the way the body has settled into the mat. Begin to bring movement back. Wiggle fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Turn your head side to side. Taking a deep breath in, bring those arms up and overhead. How much length can you find today? And then as you're ready, draw your knees in, roll over onto your side, support your head with your arm. Find your breath. On that next inhale, press into your hands and rise up, finding your sitting bones. Come to that comfortable seated position. Check in one final time. Body, mind, and spirit. What has changed? What has stayed the same? On that next inhale, arms rise up and overhead, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart, bowing your head, joining me in prayer. Holy God, we confess that it is hard to relinquish control of our lives. That there are times you have asked us to be in the shadows and we are striving for the sun. There are times when we have been exhausted from being in the sun and you ask us to stay there. There are times when you ask us to relinquish the sun and stay in the shadows. So God, whatever this day holds, sun or shadow, we thank you that you are our guide, that you go before us, that you come behind us, that you hem us in on either side. We surrender this day to you, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. It is in the name of Jesus the Christ that we pray. Amen. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today.